All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Right, I want us to do something very quickly. You can just, I think it's a good time to turn to your right and your left and ask your neighbor, what their name is. Can we do that very quickly? It seems like we don't know each other. Just turn to your neighbor, your right, your left, and ask them what their name is. Tell them, compliment them, they look very nice, because everybody here actually looks very nice this morning. Some people are not doing it though. Alright. Can I have our attention, please? Alright, my name is OluwaPelumi. And now, very quickly, I'll be taking us through the fundamentals of cinematography, just very quickly. Alright, but before I go ahead, I want to ask a question. Please stay with me. Alright, so I want to ask, how many of us can recognize any of these two characters on the screen? Anybody? Alright, please, can you tell me what's... You said? Otto and Merlin. Alright, so can you please go to the next slide? Otto and Merlin. Now, can anybody remember this scene from the movie? Obviously, it's from the movie Merlin. Abi, how many of us know the movie Merlin? How many of us watched the movie Merlin? Alright, how many of you remember this scene from the movie? Do you? Alright, you might not remember this scene, but I'm sure that if I ask you to tell me about the storyline of the movie, you should be able to say something. Is that right? Abi, now? We are not responding. Abi? Now, the whole movie, even though it's quite unfortunate, I didn't watch the movie Merlin. My friends told me about the movie, they had great stories from the movie, and unfortunately for me, I couldn't watch the movie Merlin. But then, the whole movie is a story. Abi? How many of us agree with me that the whole movie Merlin is a story? And it was a story written by somebody. And the person had the intention, the person just probably was sitting in his room and then crafted out the story and then had the intention of sharing it with people. But then he could not have done that by just probably coming to record it as an audio or to just wake up one day and say it on radio. Not maybe everybody here would not have been able to get it. So the person that wrote the story used a tool, a storytelling tool, to make the story known to everybody. And that's what we call visual storytelling. So visual storytelling is you telling a story or passing an information using pictures or just using something pictorial. So something like a graphic design. Alright. So something like a graphic design. Are we together? Hello? I'll soon be through. So something like a graphic design is a form of visual storytelling. So a picture, you can see a picture, a photograph, and it is telling you a story. That's part of visual storytelling. Abi now. So now, one of the things that we now want to focus on this week, in this multimedia week, is one of the things we are the last slide. So one of the things that now there are many forms of visual storytelling. There are many forms by which you can tell stories through visuals, through pictures. You can use anime, people that watch anime lovers, photography, video games, movie and TV shows, UI/UX design, infographics, graphic novels and comics. All of those are forms by which we tell stories visually. But the one that we are focusing on this week is cinematography. Are we together? So we are focusing on cinematography this week, and just like the example movies. Now, I would not want you to mistake cinematography for videography. If I want to record a video now, I can just take out this phone and record a video of every one of us here. That is actually not cinematography, it is videography. But cinematography is something major, something big, something huge. And that's what we are into this week. So there are different forms of cinematography. There are different forms. Everything. Now, if I ask three persons now, how do you cook the same process of making that rice? Is that right? Abi now. So it's the same thing with make movies. So the things that we see with Merlin, the things we see with Iron Man, the Marvel series, all of those movies, all of those things are cinematography. And now it is those things that we now want to focus on in this multimedia week. It is all of those things that we want to address. It is all of those things that we want to learn. And I was talking about that is here to learn the basics of cinematography. So some of the basics of cinematography, we have lighting, stage setting up, green screen, we have composition, GS, camera GS, and all of those things. Now, all of those things are the things that we want to check this week. Today is just an onboarding session. We might not really dive so much, although the next speaker is going to bring us into an immersive session. But we might not really do so much today. But then, all of these basics, all of these things that you see, all of the movies that you see, we want to learn the basics. We want to see how are these things made, how are these things created. So all of these things now will now be the things that we also begin to learn. So that, just like Mr. Timmy said, as you begin to learn all of these things, you can now begin to tell your own stories. You can now begin to share things. If in case there's a story you want to share, in case there is something you have in mind that you want to make known to people. Nobody would have known about the movie Merlin if that man did not have a form, if he did not have a way, if there was no channel by which you could have shared that story. And those are things that we now want to learn. Right? So Mr. Green is coming up very soon. And is there anything else I want to say? I'm not sure. So I want to encourage us that, just like Mr. Timmy said, that we all pay attention, we brace up, we put our minds together, we collaborate, work with other persons, so that as we learn all of these amazing things this week, we can, by the end of this week, as we step out, we can be sure that yes, I'm learning something. So when you now begin to see movies, you are not too surprised, you are not wondering how is this thing done, how is this thing made. You're already having understanding of the basics. You're having understanding of the fundamental things that make cinematography. Do you understand all I've said? Do you understand everything I've said? Alright, so now we want to welcome Mr. Green. Is he around? So Mr. Green is the lead instructor at the multimedia department. He's a very senior man. Alright, sir. Alright, can we